Cool. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Diamond Zone, and welcome to In the Zone podcast. It's been rainy for a couple days, well, for these past 2 days. I'm glad that it's raining because it's been hot almost all this month and last month. I'm just glad that it's raining. I'm just not glad that it is humid. So, oops, I honestly forgot to edit. I honestly forgot to edit something. Ah man, I don't remember how that. I honestly forgot to edit. I honestly forgot to. So it is my phone. All right. So I think it is my phone that's been glitching out. I totally forgot to edit the title, so I totally forgot to do that. Let me see if I can do that really quick. If not, then oh well. I just have to remember to do it next time. Let's see. Stream information. I'm. I really hate being so sweaty. There it is. Eh, and done. All right. There we go. Now it's updated. All right. All right. Right. So now that's edited, and now we can get on to today's topic, which I really haven't talked about. This topic I haven't talked about at all. So this is new-ish. Not for me new, but you know. Anyways, today's topic is the downsides of being neurodivergent. Uh, yeah, the downside of being neurodivergent. Yeah, that it does have its ups and downs, especially its downs. So yeah, that's some. Yeah, so yeah, I it comes to a point where I just extremely hate being neurodivergent. Multiple times I have wondered. Multiple times I have wondered. Um, I just wish that I didn't relieve from this burden. Because that's what it feels like like majority of the times to me, like being neurodivergent feels like it is a burden to me for uh, especially mix that up with having depression, because I like I said I do have that as well. So yeah, that happens. So yeah, I really need to get no, not thermal, but anyways, but I need to get breathable clothes. But anyways, yeah, the downsides of being neurodivergent, for some, not all, but some is feeling, for me in my case it feels feels so like just like it feels like a burden to me. It feels like a huge burden. Just like I don't know why I have it a lot of times. I don't know why. Like for me, sometimes it feels like it's a curse. That I was born being neurodivergent, and mix that in with depression. It's heavy. So, and I don't like a lot of times I really do not like being neurodivergent because of the negative things I have to cope with, and it isn't it isn't it is manageable. It is manageable, don't get me wrong, it is manageable. But it is something hard to manage. Being neurodivergent is something that is really hard to manage, especially especially having depression and anxiety. Is just makes it worse, either by a little bit or a lot. I'm not completely sure. Sometimes that varies. So yeah, and there'll be times where like I'm in a public place and I prefer being home and break down so no one can see me because I don't want to be like looked at as something less than, then eventually get the police called on me uh, for a uh, for um for a mental health situation, uh, and that can lead to me being killed off or me being arrested for again a mental health crisis. And not a lot of and not and barely anyone knows how to calm a person down who do have not only mental health issues but also but also people who are neurodivergent. A lot of neurotypicals and autistic people do not know uh, how to help their friend, their family member, how to help them cope or calm down in a way. And it is a huge. And I'm not gonna I'm not gonna blame them for not knowing. I'm not gonna blame them for not knowing. And at the same time, there is the internet, so research and also ask. So I'm not going to completely blame I'm not going to completely blame neurotypical people and people who do not have depression, anxiety, and stuff like that. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. Like there'll be like stuff that you don't know. At the same time, it is your job to ask or to look it up in a way where it's not in a negative like in a negative site, like in a negative like in a negative point of view. Like if you're going to look something up, if you're going to look something up, do it out of like of course like look it up out of pure curiosity. If you need to research, well, yeah, pure curiosity, not out of hatred or not out of hatred, not out of negativity. That's what I'm trying to say. Overall, do not do research out of negativity and be like, oh, I'm gonna, I'm gonna do this research because I just to prove them wrong. Like, no, it is also rainy here, so oh yeah, I already did say that it's raining here, so yeah, it is starting to rain. I have seen a couple lightning strikes um so far, so it is picking up, and the wind is picking up. So I also hope I remember to roll my window. I'll do it when I'm done. I forgot to do this as well. I forgot to do this as well. There's a lot of things I forgot to do. But going back to it, yeah, it is really like when it comes to like research out of like for the fact of you want to know how a person who do have that are neurodivergent or do have depression, anxiety, OCD, and stuff like that. Um, like know out of pure curiosity and want to improve or how to and like how to like better communicate with your friends or family that do have that do have that and want to stand up for people who do and stand up for other people who do have it. So like I said, If you want to do research, do not research out of like proving some I want I would say like proving someone wrong. Like, all right, so here's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you want to do research, like in order to do research, do not do research out of hatred and try to bash someone for their wrongdoing. Like, of course, weren't like tell them, hey, you shouldn't be doing that, or doing that will actually harm the person. Like, yeah, say that, hold them accountable, but do not be like all not like spread hatred 24/7 towards them. It's just like it's not doing anyone good. You're gonna make them resent people who are neurodivergent, and you're gonna harm the neurodivergent community by doing that as well. Because there's not a lot of advocates. There's not a lot of advocates for people. Um, yeah, regardless, there's not a lot of advocates that does help the neurodivergent community. So the more advocates, the more the merrier when it comes to advocates and a lot of things as well. But yeah, there, but yeah, yeah, we do need like a lot of more, like we do need like a lot more people to be aware of what they say around people who are neurodivergent. Um, like have that awareness. Like we do need people to have that awareness, and people to be like being advocating, because a lot of autistic people are nonverbal. A lot of autistic people are nonverbal, and there's a lot of autistic people that can't, like in general, cannot stand up for themselves. And we do need those advocates to step in for us and be like, hey, what you're doing is wrong, or hey, you shouldn't be saying that. And of course, a person like me who doesn't need a lot of accommodations. I also I'll also need the help. I will also need help being advocated for, because even though I can't stand up for myself, there's still a lot of ignorant people out there, and I do have a limit on how much I can take. Is just like I to the point where I'm just like I can't do it anymore. I cannot keep on talking to you. Um, I can't keep on explaining. Of course, like I would like back off and be like, well, not back off, but I'll like step out and be like, well, if you're not going to listen, that's on you. So I'm going to distance myself. Of course, I can do that. At the same time, at the same time there could be people that will be harassing and keep on trying to start a conversation when we simply just said, I don't want to talk to you. You're a bad person. Leave me alone. And they keep on berating, and yeah, trying to make my situation worse and other people's situation worse. It's just like, what's the purpose of doing that? By the way, I don't think that there's a purpose of berating a person. There is no purpose of on berating a person just to prove a point. There's no there's no purpose of berating a person in general. Just you're harassing a person. That's what it is. At the end of the day, you're harassing the person in general, just to get a reaction. Yeah, that's harassment. Regardless, that is harassment. You're harassing a person to get a reaction by stalking them, by stalking them, by following them around, by trying to engage in conversation when they clearly set a boundary to tell you not to talk to them because they're tired, and they don't want to talk to you because they are incapable of wanting to learn. They just want to spread hatred. It's just like is yeah. There's no purpose into to berate people if they're not going to listen or take criticism either. So with that in mind, you can see why. So yeah, um, with that, it is hard to like maintain a good mental health lifestyle when when one other outside sources, like people from the outside, are berating you, and um, two, you're also dealing with your own echo chamber. Um, something. So let me clarify on the echo chamber. I'm not sure if it's only me, but I'm not sure if it's only me. Um, so whenever I hear a lot of negative stuff, it just bounces around in my skull. Just be like negative, 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 and it's just going to keep on being in replay. And like I said, it is in echo chambers, and it's hard for me to deal with. Like in general, like it is hard for me to deal with whenever I just hear negative stuff instead of positive stuff. And I just hear that content, and just like I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it anymore, or I can't deal with it at all. So that's what I mean by echo chamber. That's what I mean. So that's what I basically mean when I say echo chamber. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about other autistic people, but I know that I do have an echo chamber when it comes to like a one specific word. I know that I have that echo chamber, and it just bounces around, and sometimes it lasts for a couple hours. Sometimes it lasts for a couple weeks. In my case, it's around, like in my case it is around from a couple hours to a couple weeks, and it's just like I cannot get this out of my head. I'm trying to be in a positive mindset here, and that one word is still sticking out. It's just like can you just go away? And I'm not gonna lie, it gets in my situation, it gets to a point where I'm just gonna be hitting the part of my head where I'm hearing that echo chamber. So it'll be like either right here, and like I said, it is like for me, like it can be so quiet or it can be so loud as well. When it's so loud, that's why I'm be like, that's just like doing this, and just like I'm trying to make it stop. I'm trying to make that word like stop being so loud, or just trying to get to the minute, like trying to get it quiet, because I'm trying to focus. And it's just like this word is so loud, and just like I'm going crazy at sometimes. I'm going crazy sometimes. I just like I gotta keep it quiet. I'm doing my best to keep it quiet, and it just keeps on getting louder until I just like either sometimes not even just a tap like that. It'll be like sometimes it'll just be like a little bit more forceful in my situation. But yeah, that is a negative side of me. That's a negative side of that's a negative side of autism for me, because like I said, like I in my case I have a huge echo chamber. I do have a huge echo chamber that is really loud, and it's just like I'm trying to focus, and it gets too loud to a point where I do have to do that. And it's just like I don't want to do that, but it's like the only thing that will keep it quiet until I get home and I can decompress, and that's when it can get louder to a point where I can like be in the zone, and be like whatever I need to do. Dang, it's so humid in here. I'm gonna be right back. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna adjust the temperature real quick. Well, not just temperature, but dang, I so forgot to bring. There's a lot of stuff I forgot to do. There's a lot of stuff I forgot to do before this. But yeah, that's one of the many negative on my end. That's one of the many negative on my end where it's just like gets too much. I don't know. And like I said, like have that with depression, anxiety, that can get extremely loud sometimes. In my case, that can get extremely loud sometimes. to a point where I don't want to a point where I just want to sleep and not do anything at all. So yeah, and only so far in my life, so far in my adult life, like literally only two times where I did have a mental breakdown. Well, did yeah, I did have a mental breakdown and was close or was barely having a mental breakdown. One of them was today. I was I barely had a mental breakdown. Today I'm just like, because like for me when come and for me it's just like like just making simple mistakes can set me off like that. I'm not gonna lie. Like hearing like making simple mistakes and constantly hearing like constantly like hearing don't do it next time is just like it like for me is again that's a huge echo chamber. Like again that uh, like the echo chamber is only focusing on mistake. Why did you do this? Mistake. Why did you do this? Mistake. You shouldn't have done that. Mistake. It just keeps on repeating. It keeps on going on a loop. It's just like I'm trying to focus. At least let at least let me get done with my shift and let me get home so I can deal with it on my own terms. Of course I step through it and I don't hear it anymore. Well, it's not there anymore. So yeah, that's like one of the so yeah, like I said, again a lot of negative stuff when it a lot of negative stuff when it comes to stuff like this, and a lot of people aren't realizing that. It's just like it's doing the neurodivergent community a huge disservice. It's also doing the mental health community a huge disservice as well, because a lot of people are just like, oh it's not real, or you're just making it up. And again and with that it's also worse. Like making it up is also have the with that like with that phrase you're making it up, it will have it will give some of us an imposter syndrome as well, just like some sort of imposter syndrome, to the point where it's just like I'm a fraud. I can't be like this because I've been told this. It shouldn't why does it happen to me? I shouldn't I'm not sure if I'm being truthful to myself. It goes downhill from there. It's just like, and again, it gets too much. Like I know, like in general, it gets too much, and for me, it gets too much. Like I can't. We're to a point where I just don't want to do anything, and I am constantly questioning my own realities. Well, not my own reality per se, but just like my own I wouldn't say process so much, but somewhere like process or like my yeah, I'm just gonna say process for now. I'll figure it. I'll try to find the word. I'll try to find the word for later. But yeah, yeah. It gets to the point where it does get that bad, and it's just like I can't handle it. Like for me, I like there'll be points where I can't handle it, and it is too like again it is too much sometimes. And it's just like what's the point of like I'm trying to make a better version of myself. I still have this. I just want it to be gone. And like I said multiple times, I just wish that there is a cure. Sometimes I do wish that there is a cure, but at the end of the day, there is no cure when it comes with being neurodivergent or or having mental health issues. There's no cure aside from pills, which one is not a cure. It's just a sedative, and two, I don't like taking pills at all because that did bring out the worst in me as well. It's just like that's like a version of myself where I don't want to see. I don't want to experience that part of me because that was because me on those pills really is the worst part of me because of the side effects. And the side effects shouldn't be possible of death. It shouldn't be that, but yet it is. So that's another reason why I am not so much that's another reason why I am not a person that likes to take pills, because it's just like there is no positive point for me to there's no positive side effects for me to take them, and there's only going to be it's only going to be making um, my situation worse. So yeah, taking stuff like antidepressants, ADHD medications, those stuff for me, I don't like. I don't like taking medications. I don't like taking those type of medications because it is a negative mind altering drug, and it's just repressing, yeah, repressing just re- yeah, just repressing all my emotions, just like it is repressing all my negative emotions. um it's just making it worse. Like I said, it is repressing it is repressing all my negative emotions into one focal point and just piling up from there. And keep in mind, like there'll be points where I keep stuff to myself, all the good, like like some of the good stuff and a lot of the bad stuff. I'm already keeping it inside, and adding the sedative is just making that smaller and more unstable. So yeah, it is a negative thing for me to from it isn't I don't see any good in having sedatives like that, because it isn't it isn't healthy. It isn't like for me it isn't healthy. It isn't it's just gonna put me if I still took that, I think I'll be 6 feet under. Not gonna lie, I think I would be 6 feet under if I kept on taking the medications. And I'm glad that I'm not taking those pills anymore. That I'm glad about, because now I'm able to recognize where my where my triggers are and how I can cope with it. And ironically I'm still figuring out. I'm still How do I say this? I'm still discovering my other stuff when it comes to me and my autism. Like this past weekend, I figured out that I do have selective mutism. It's just that's something that I figured out on the next on Saturday. I was working on Friday. Yeah, that's something I figured out on less than 24 hours, like within 24 hours. Just like that's something I didn't know that I have, but I automatically recognize it. Well, I didn't automatically recognize it, but I recognize it less within 24 hours. And I know I wouldn't be able to do that if I was on sedatives. I'll be like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm feeling like that. It's just like it's just going to cause more confusion. And without it, I'm just like, I know the rain is making so much noise. And with that, and like I said, without it, I'm able to recognize it like a little bit faster. Like I'm able to recognize it a little bit faster and be like, yeah, I didn't know that I had that. Now I know that I have it, and I got to talk to my therapist about it and figure out what I can do to balance that out. The rain is making a lot of noise, but yeah, it, there should be and there should be a lot more research when it comes to any type of neurodivergent, any form of neurodivergent. There should be more research. There should be more research for that. Of course there are like a lot of research for it, but I'm saying that there should be more research for neurodivergence and mental health, because those are the things that are really important as well. Not just physical health, but also mental health and neurodivergent. Uh, like I said, it is really important to know. Like it's really important to have a lot of more information. We have, if anything, I think that we have more information on cancer than I think that we have more research when it comes to more on the physical stuff than the mental stuff in general. Like in general, I think that there's more research on the physical stuff than the mental stuff, because I don't know why. I don't know why. That is something. Yeah, like I said, that is something I don't know why that happens, or why that is. But yeah, like I said, a lot. If anything, that's like, if anything, like I said, that's the main, because there's not a lot of research for. There's not a lot of equal research when it comes to physical stuff. That's like I said, that's the main reason why I started my podcast. So I'm putting out my experiences with my autism, ADHD, anxiety, and depression, because hey, a lot of people do have do have those type of variations, um, and probably a lot more as well. And when it comes to a lot more, I do not have the tools to talk about stuff like OCD, bipolar, schizophrenia, um stuff like that. I don't have the, like, yeah, like I said yesterday, I can do a lot of research, but it's not my, but it feels like it's not my place to talk about it, because I do not, because I'm not living, I do not have that I do not have that experience, so I do not, so me personally, I don't know what that is, what that's like. All I know, the only thing that I know is what I've been born with. All the mental, like when it comes to mental stuff, it's the stuff that I've known with and worked with for my 23 years of living, again, which are ADHD, autism, anxiety, and depression. Those are stuff that I can talk about, because I'm constantly experiencing that, and it's something that can't go away. But yeah, it is so yeah, it is something that like I said, when it comes to mental health stuff, that I only can talk about my experiences when it comes to what I've been diagnosed with. Like I said, it feels improper for me to talk about stuff that I haven't been diagnosed with. I can do research about it and talk about it, but I cannot I cannot, out of good faith, I cannot, I can barely talk about, I can give general stuff. That's the best that I can do, say the general stuff. I cannot give my experience on it, because like I said, I'm not diagnosed with other mental health stuff, or neurodivergent stuff as well. I'm not like the only four things I've been diagnosed is the only four things I'm going to talk about when it comes to mental health and neurodivergency. So in general, there should be more research about it, but that's my tangent on it. So, uh, but yeah, but yeah, like I said, there's a lot of negatives. There's a lot of downsides when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to having when it comes to being neurodivergent. And the fact that a lot of people who have been diagnosed with mental health, or been diagnosed with some sort of neurodivergence, we've been diagnosed, a lot of people, including myself, have been diagnosed um, like in their teen years, 16, 17, 15 to 19, and sometimes in their early mid 20s, sometimes later. Like I said multiple times, I've been diagnosed in my junior of high school. It's just like around 17, if I remember correctly. I've been diagnosed with all four, not at the same time, obviously, but with all four at the age of 16, and I've been dealing with that until. I've been properly dealing with that since then. Of course, I have been on the downhill first. Of course, I've been on downhill first, then uphill, then somewhere in the uphill got to downhill, then up and down. But yeah, it is some. Yeah, like I said, it is something that I for me it's something that that me and a lot of people struggle with, and me personally, like I said, it I the, like I said, I can't I can't deal with it constantly, and there are multiple times where I just like I wish that there is a cure so I can be so I can be considered as normal and do not and I don't have to deal with I don't have to deal with all this pressure because I'm doing because me personally it feels like I'm doing it on my own. I'm healing on my own. And of course I do have a friend who is also neurodivergent, and we talk about our struggles as well. At the same time, it feels like that I am that like I know that I'm putting all the effort because it is my life and it is my stuff to deal with as well. But what I'm trying to say is that it feels like I'm carrying all the weight and trying to sort it out to a point where it's a lot lighter. And sometimes that does like sometimes I can manage it and at the same time there'll be points where I'm just like I can't deal with it. But yeah, the only person that I can talk to about it, well, the only two people I can talk to about it is my therapist and my friend who is also neurodivergent. Those are the only two people I can truly talk about it because well, one, my therapist is helping me regulate it, and two, my neurodivergent friend, we both are neurodivergent, so it's something that we both can relate to. It's something that both of us can relate to, and I know that we've talked about it multiple times because when I was working with because I was working with them, we did talk about a lot of stuff when it comes to stuff like medications, and we both said the same thing. Like we both don't like medication. Me and him, we really do not like medication because it brought out the worst in us. Like, and that's something like I said that I can relate to, like can truly relate to because we both been in that situation. Um, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said multiple times, I just wish that there is a cure, and I know that there isn't, and I just have to deal with it so far. And my best way of dealing with it is like continuing therapy. Um, and I know that my therapy is almost complete, but there's still a lot of things that I don't know about myself when it comes to autism and ADHD. I already know a lot of stuff when it comes to my anxiety and depression. That's why I'm able to like go around go in this world um, without wanting to harm myself every time 24/7. I can officially like go on my life without wanting to harm myself in any way shape or form 24/7. And anxiety, yes, my anxiety is still there, but it has diminished by a lot, I want to say like 75-80%. um that is my anxiety is something that I can manage. My depression is something that I can manage, but my autism and ADHD is something that I'm still figuring out, and it's really hard for me to figure out sometimes. It's just like I need that therapy. I do need. It feels like I do need that therapy a little bit longer until I'm able to until I'm able to pinpoint every possible outcomes. Um, yeah, until I figure out every possible outcomes and how I can deal with it. That's how I felt. Like I said, when it comes to depression, and anxiety, and now I don't. Now it has diminished by until like in general like around 95%. Like that has diminished 90 to 95%, close to 99%. and with my autism ADHD, my ADHD, that's like around 85 at most. 85 has been diminished by 85%. Then my autism, it's around 25 to 50% at most. I'm still figuring out a lot of stuff when it comes to my autism. It's just like it I don't it's just like it's hard for me to like pinpoint constantly. Just just like, oh, this is a part of my autism that I didn't know about, that I'm figuring out just now. Or now looking back, it's just like it's either that or just like did I do like it's like looking back, it's just like looking back at my childhood, I can ask myself, was that an autistic trait of mine that I didn't know just yet? Maybe, maybe not. Depending on what it is. But yeah, but yeah, like I said, there's a lot of struggle. Like I said, a lot of struggle when it comes to my autism because, like I said, I've been diagnosed in like 16 when I was 16, 17, and I'm barely halfway there. I'm figuring out every possible outcomes. And like I said, it is hard for me to deal with it. Sometimes it is hard for me to deal with sometimes because it's just like is it's a lot of mental exercises. It's a lot of mental exercises that I need to do, and sometimes the exercises that it can get so bad um to a point where I'm just like it's going to take me around a couple of days for me to get back into it. Heck, that's how long. That's how long. It took me to get out of my selective mutism. Only it took me a couple of days, like literally like a day or two for me to get to for me to um get out of it and just like all right, let's get back into the swing of things. With all that being said, with all that being said, it is hard in general. It is hard to navigate through something when you've just figured out or just figured out like 10 years ago, and you're barely getting your foot into healing. It's something. It is really hard to, in my opinion, and from my experience, it is hard to deal with something to deal with something that you barely know that you have and you just started. In my case, 10 years. Like I said, 10 years. In my case, it is hard for me to deal with it at a later age. If anything, I would. If anything, if I had, if anything, if I was conscious when I was like around 4 or 5, if I was self aware at around when I was like 4 or 5, I think I will be. I think I'll be. Um, I think I'll have more methods for me to deal with it. I think I'll have like double or triple the amount of methods of how to manage it. Um, in other words, I'll have more arsenal in my clip to put it to put into terms, ish. But yeah, it does take a lot of mental toll. It does take a lot of mental toll when it comes to stuff like that. It's really hard to deal with. As for me, it's hard to deal with like on a constant basis, and for some, it's hard to deal with on a dated like on a week to week basis. For me, it's on a constant basis. As for me, it is a constant basis, and because of that, I'm going to go back to the echo chamber. Because of that echo chamber that I have, because of that echo chamber that I have, um, that's what I know. That's what triggers my depression because of that echo chamber. Constantly hearing in my head negative stuff that does trigger my depression, and and like I said, that's hard for me to deal with on a daily basis or on a constant basis, especially especially given the fact that I barely get any type of affection aside from verbal "I love you," and sometimes it doesn't feel genuine. Sometimes, like I said, I do not get physical. I do not get like physical. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out the word for it. I don't. Yeah, I don't get um physical attention on a daily basis. And I know that I don't I don't get physical affection on a daily basis. And sometimes I wish I do, but the reality is I don't. I barely get hugs. For me, I barely get hugs. Like I said yesterday, I'm a cuddly person. I like to cuddle, and and because of that, because of my vulnerability, it's hard for me to find because I am genuine and my vulnerability is 50-50. It's hard for me to, like I said yesterday, it's hard for me to find a partner that will reciprocate the same thing. Just like, and it's just going to be to a point of like it could be like to a point of I'm putting in so much effort and you're not putting in the same amount. Where's the reciprocation? And it gives me trust issues. And there's another problem that I have to deal with by myself. Why am I so stinking humid? I'm trying to get the air on. Dang, it's so humid in here. My skin's constantly sticky. I think I should start doing my podcast in at 12 or something. I don't know. But yeah, I know I do not get a lot of physical affection, and because of that, that's how I developed the. And in hindsight, I think that's how I developed depression because I do not get a lot of physical affection. It's just like something that I missed out and something I'm dealing with, and yeah, I'm not and something that I do not have constantly. It's just that's how my just looking back, I think that's how my depression started in the first place. Alongside of possible other things, but yeah, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see something really quick. All right. All right. Let's see. Blah blah blah. Let's see. All right. So I'm reading this article. So let's see. So this article. Um. This says 4 hugs a day using therapeutic touch. Abstract. Imagine a prescription which prescribes 4 hugs per day to a patient suffering from depression. Handing described finding that 4 hugs per day was an antidote for depression. 8 hugs per day would achieve mental stability, and 12 hugs per day would achieve real psychological growth. If this is the case, touch has a greater significance than most of us would realize. So yeah, I'm not getting. So yeah, I'm not getting a lot of hugs in general. In general, I do not get a lot of hugs, and I do not get a lot of verbal. Aside from my friend, I do not get a lot of verbal of verbal um like like of affirmation. That's what I'm trying to say. Aside from my friend, aside from my neurodivergent friend, I do not get a lot of hugs. I do not get a lot of hugs within my family. Like within my friends in general, I do get hugs, but it's not on a constant. Of course, not on a constant basis because everyone's busy. Everyone's constantly busy, so I do not hold that against them. But yeah, if anything, I'll put the. Ooh, this is a this is a long gay website. Um, Here, let me try to. All right, here's a website for it. There's a website that I was looking at. Let's see. That you can. Here's a link to it. Not the full link, obviously. Um, but you can also look up. You can also look up online how many hugs um we need a day. You can look up those two stuff. Like I said, the link that I have right here is not the link that I posted is not the full link. It is the link that I can only see on my phone. Or you can look it up. How many hugs we need a day, and and like it said, um, 4 hugs a day. 4 hugs a day. I'm just gonna. What the article says. Uh, 4 hugs a day. 4 hugs a day is an antidote for depression. 8 hugs a day will achieve mental stability. 12 hugs a day will achieve real psychological growth. And like I said, I barely get 4 a day. Actually, I don't get 4 a day at all. I just don't not get hugs a 4 day. I do not get 4 hugs a day. Yeah, it is. Yeah, for me, it is really tough for me to yeah to continue on. Like I said, I do not get a lot of physical affection or verbal affection from my family in general, but I do get some from my friends. Um, Me and my friends would hug sometimes. Um, Sometimes we dab each other up, just like one of these handshakes, like one of those handshakes. For me, I'll count that as hugs. For me, I'll count that as like quick hugs. Just like, hey, what's going on, man? How's it going? Like, bring it in. Like, 1, 2. Like for me, that's a quick hug that I'll accept because that is like a way of acknowledgement. That's a way of acknowledgement. If anything, I'm not sure if I will continue this tomorrow. Continue this topic tomorrow. Probably not. I probably won't continue this tomorrow, but um, actually, I won't continue this tomorrow unless if there's any questions. Um, with that in mind, whoever is on here, here's my Instagram. I should be posting my podcast up on my Instagram. I'm still trying to figure that out. I think I got it. I think I got it, but if not, then you'll see like my updates when I'm going to start my podcast. But that's my Instagram, and I forgot to put that's my Instagram. Again, I keep on there. Anyways, that's my Instagram. Like I said, I should be posting up more podcast content on my Instagram. And of course, I do have like other other stuff as well on my Instagram. But if anything is mostly going to be like updates on my story. Just be like, hey, what time my podcast is going to be on, um, or if I need to postpone it, or if I'm going to start earlier than usual, one or the other. So yeah, follow me on my Instagram. Um, follow me on my Instagram. Also follow my YouTube. I should start posting up more of my podcasts on my YouTube as well. So just in case, here's my YouTube right here. I'm going to put my YouTube on here as well. Uh, uh, there's my YouTube. So with that being said, there's a lot of negatives. There's a lot of negative stuff um, that the neurodivergent community has to go through. So if you're a person so if you do know someone that is neurodivergent, whether it be friends, family, cousins, what have you, make sure that you check up on them because they're probably going through some tough times right now. So make sure that you check up on them. Um, and if you're a neurodivergent as well, this is what my podcast is for. Is for relatable content. It's relatable content like this, just so that you know that you're not alone. I know that phrase is a little bit outdated, but at least I am showing proof that hey, you're like I'm also going through something like this. I'm also a person that's neurodivergent and that's going through the same thing that you're going through. If you have anything like this, if you experience something like this, or you do have autism, ADHD, anxiety, depression, I know the struggle with it. So with that being said, if there's no questions, have a good night. Drink water, stay hydrated, try to keep yourself cool, and I'll see you. Uh, I'll see you all tomorrow.